Numerous well-known today genius works of art were created in Italy during the Renaissance. But sometimes when I look at them, I can't really concentrate on their beauty because all I can think about is, there is no way a straight man painted this. In fact, I don't think up until the 19th century anyone even liked women. You know, with all the well-respected certified wise guys saying some crazy out-of-pocket BS like, the female is a female by virtue of a certain lack of qualities. We should regard the female nature as afflicted with a natural defectiveness. And the active power of a man's seed is to produce a thing completely like itself, something male. If a female is produced, that means the material provided by the mother is unsuitable, or because of external factors like humidity. These guys don't really sound like they've ever loved a woman. In fact, what they're pretty much saying is that women suck. So of course, why be with a woman when you can be with a man? Thought almost every dude in Florence, a city renowned for its art, progress, and sodomy. What is sodomy exactly? Back then, the church still had a huge influence on society, and the church said no butt stuff. In fact, no any non-God honoring ooga booga. Basically, if the goal is not offspring, then it's considered sodomy. That being said, sodomy most often referred to man having sex with other men. Emphasis on men. Because a man could do whatever he pleased, if it did not threaten his masculinity. That meant an older man having a relationship with a much younger one was fine. It's a practice known as pederasty, dating back to ancient Greece. Of course, when I say it was fine, I mean it was fine for the older man. The younger one would be insulted and treated poorly. Not because he was in a relationship with a man, mind you, but because he was essentially a woman now in the eyes of everyone else. And remember, women suck. Regardless, sodomy was illegal, and to best describe how illegal yet madly widespread it was, I will do so for explaining the penalty system in place for it. Now, how do you enforce God-honoring amorous conquest onto peasants? Enter the Office of the Knight, a specialized group made for policing and prosecuting crimes of sodomy. Like, okay, hands up, hands down, I better see 2 different types of genitals under that cover. And there would be a fine for first-time offenders. And second, you actually got 4 strikes with the fine increasing for each offense. But, oh, this is your 5th offense, buddy. You know this means we have to give you the death penalty now. Oh no. Oh, we'll just let that slide. Yay! The office rarely gave anyone the death sentence, and because the crime was so widespread, they even lowered the fines for most cases. See, that's because it was more advantageous to receive a sustainable income from accused citizens than executing offenders and losing both money and resources. It was essentially a pay-to-play system. But more importantly, the Office of the Knight provides us with valuable information because according to the logs, the outright majority of men in Florence were incriminated for sodomy at least once. That's 17,000 men out of the city's total population of 40,000 people. Clearly, people might have abused the system. Some of those men could have just been sitting in a hot spring, but not 6 feet apart, and someone might have led the night office that, they're being gay. But Mr. Night Office man, sir, homosexuality is occurring. Hello? Okay, now that he's out of the way. Hi, what's up? It really makes me wonder, when you get caught with a man, do you both get fined? Like split the bill? Or maybe it was common courtesy for the one who invited you out to pay? Like, how did this work? In any case, there is clear historical evidence that proves that one of the biggest centers for art and culture in Italy was also a hub for homosexual men. And although I cannot begin to explain how complicated and weirdly religion-centered the Renaissance version of being queer was, Florence was definitely a more lenient place, and men got more freedom to be what today we consider queer. And of course, some of those men were artists. Which leads me to the spontaneous, factual, artistic, recreational talk show segment, Poopie, if you will. Thank you, Poopy. Time to ask the real important questions. Why does Renaissance art exude more homoeroticism than Chinese Soviet propaganda posters and modern-day South Park fan art for some reason? Why the Renaissance specifically? Well, the Renaissance was a revival of Greco-Roman art, philosophy, and culture. And what did the Greeks and Romans do? Worship gods, find women unpleasant, and fuck everything everywhere all the time. But most importantly, they were pretty gay. Plato, for example, described same-sex relationships between men as closer to godliness than heterosexuality. So the Neoplatonic sensibilities of the Renaissance expressed that idea as heavenly love, being more properly directed at men than at icky yucky women, because women are stupid baby incubators. And to best explain what happened to art, I'll use a rather modern example, and you have to trust me on that. Today, I think all of us come across this phenomenon quite a bit. People would take two fictional characters of the same gender, and they would put them into a relationship because they touched knees in episode 2. But what happens is, when they're being portrayed in a scene together, be it a canon event or an imaginary scenario, one will be drawn or portrayed as being way more feminine than the other, and way more feminine than the actual actor most often. Sometimes it's both, sometimes it's just one, and that happens in pretty much every fandom today. And boy, there are a lot of fandoms. But back then, there was one fandom that topped all the rest, and most art was Bible fan art. During the Renaissance, Saint Sebastian went from looking like this to this. And that's literally a 180 from Oliver Tree to Twinkle Chalamet. And listen, you probably have a mutual that's always drawing this one fictional character that they really like, all sexy and shit on Twitter. This guy did that with Saint Sebastian. That's his favorite character to post thirsty fan art of on Maine. Similarly, if you take a look at this rather suggestive John Baptist, look at me and tell me that he isn't making you feel submissive and breedable. Now, would it be surprising if I tell you that Da Vinci most likely used his male lover as a model for this painting? And why am I quite certain of that? Remember the Office of the Night? One of the many people accused was Leonardo da Vinci. Also, I would like to say that I'm not even saying that these men are exactly gay, because sexuality is really complicated, and sexuality back then is... I'm drawing a conclusion from Twink Sebastian and the homoerotic poems of some dirty gremlin. Okay, bye.